Thank you to GameWork Create for being a channel partner. Looking for a Kickstarter game you missed or 3D printed minis? GameWork Create has a huge selection available, all at a fair price. Use the link in the description below to check out all that GameWork Create has to offer. What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to one of the biggest gaming updates I have for you from this whole year. Seriously, this is one of the biggest ones. We got brand new $1 million plus campaigns, like multi-million dollar campaigns. We got exclusive announcements. We have one of the biggest giveaways I've ever announced. We got a ton of stuff to dive into. Some scams. We got it all. So strap in, stay tuned, and let's get to it. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the level of honesty and industry critique that I bring, it's because I'm independent from all the game studios. And for $1 a month, you can contribute to that. There is a link down below, and I greatly appreciate it. If not, though, a like or a comment saying that this video was helpful is also greatly appreciated. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. Starting out with Black Rose Wars Rebirth. Now, this is already at 1.2 million. It shot up there and then stayed. Because that's just how these things go, right? There's an early bird special, and so everybody gets the early bird special, and then it kind of stays the same until about the 48 hour, which is fine. It's a great time to kind of dive into stuff and look at things. If you want that price to keep raising, though, typically, unless there's some weird, like, marketing avenue you didn't get until later, you gotta do add-ons and stuff like that. But looking at this, I'm not participating in this. I all-in backed Black Rose Wars. It was a really big purchase for me. One of my first big ones. And I think the core game is great, but I think it's mired by a lack of streamlining. It's not very streamlined in my opinion. There's several different mechanics I would cut out of it to just make it more smooth, because the core is like really good, gives you that kind of Magic the Gathering kind of vibe, which I really dig, but it never gets to the table because of all the other overstuffedness, is I think how I describe it. I was hoping this would be kind of like a reimagining of it, but it looks like it's just more of the same. I have Wave 2 box, and it's like this, like you can't even see, it's like this big. It's huge. I have more Black Rose War stuff than I need. However, some people might be new to it. Some people might be like, this is my favorite game ever, in which case you can do that. You can also go ahead, and it looks like you can probably click on the rule book here. Well, I don't know. Doesn't seem to work. Your link is broken. Anyway, at least mine is. There were some print issues too, so just take a look at what everything looks like and go with that. The renders look very nice. It looks like a lot of it's just art. The minis are typically pretty good, so I'll give them that. They typically are pretty good. They're not the best, but they're pretty good. And a whole bunch of people taking a look at it. I am not one of them, but that is okay by me. Anyway, and then they kind of show some of their minis. And again, I think some are better than others, but overall, pretty good minis. So if you like the design of them, you'll probably get some good minis out of it too. So not for me, but for other people, I'm sure they will enjoy it. There's 7,800 backers on this, so definitely another big hit for them. And I guess congrats to Ludus Madness Studio for the big hit. Speaking of big hits, let's go to Arydia, The Path We Dare Tread. 8,200 backers, and again, over $1 million bucks. Massive success for them. Of course, it's by the creators of Xia. I'm being honorary now, but you get what I'm saying. Like it Far Off Games here already had a lot of credibility, and so then when they came out with this, they were like, everybody was like, oh my gosh. And it looks like a really neat RPG game. Really dig the adventure. It's about 40 hours. That's just 1 to 40 hours, which is kind of funny. It's like, who's going to do it in 1 to 40? But whatever. I beat it in 1 hour. I just didn't play it. I set it up. I figured I beat the game. My only issue here with this is $165. I think that is far too much for a core game. And the MSRP at $240 is ridiculous. It comes with a whole bunch of pre-painted minis. Don't pre-paint the minis. Have that as an add-on, like what Dragori Games did, so you can keep that price down, not up. $165 is more than I'm paying for any core game probably ever, so if I can help it. So games are getting more expensive, but that doesn't mean we need to add to it. My opinion. Does look like a cool game though. You will not see it on this channel unless somebody gives it to me, because I'm not paying for it. Not because I couldn't. Again, thank you, patrons. It's because I choose not to. Speaking of expensive, Transformers Gen 1 chess set. This thing looks really cool. I would love to take a look at it at somebody else's house. It's also very pricey, and they have a $300,000 goal. They're at $74,916 with 27 days to go. This is by Eagle Moss Hero Collectors. They're first created. However, there are several people commenting that this is an established company. They do a lot of this memorabilia kind of stuff. This is their bread and butter stuff. They are a legit company with a legit product and the IP rights and all that. So you don't have to worry about any of that. What you do have to worry about is the price, of course. You got like the Optimus Prime, which is the white player king. He's $50 just by himself. He's 154 millimeters, 6 inches, which of course is, he's nice and big. So there is that. But he is $50 for one piece. This is the whole chess set, which means the chess set is $600. The complete chess set here is $650. Let's see, what is the difference here? You get the pin badge as well. They have a little pin badge thing, which is pretty, the pin badge is cool, but where is it? There it is. There you go. So you can get either one of that. It's kind of cool. I like the really old, retro look here. I think that's pretty legit. Definitely is scratching an itch of nerdom that I really dig. And again, looks very cool. Nice and big. Would be awesome to play with. I'm not going to spend $600 on it, but some people will. So that's awesome for them. And wish them the best of luck. They definitely have a lot to go. I don't know if they marketed this well enough. And I don't even think I can't remember if they even had an update the first day. They only have 3 updates and they've been out for a week now. It's been a while. So let's see what the updates are. Dive in here real quick. New podcast interview. What's in the box? And after an incredible launch, we're on our way. Okay. So that was August 17th. So it's been out a while. So it would be nice to see a little bit more interactability. It would be nice to see them interact more. Moving on, we have Uncharted Lands book and STL collection. This is for your RPG lover. This is for your 3D print lover. This is for the lover of both. I really like how it's themed and grouped here, and the actual world for kind of tabletop gaming looks quite interesting as well. And again, I like that you can kind of just back what you want, right? So they have this core collection here, 17 bosses, 20 buildings, 131 miniatures, 202 scatter terrain models. That's huge. However, you can just go and get just the Blasted Isle core collection where you get kind of these minis, which is, again, very cool. Or you get the Golden Plains core collection, which is these. I see several of these would be great for my Warhammer gaming that I do, my 40K gaming. But they have various kind of groups of ones, the giant alligator looking kind of thing. A lot of different stuff if you want to be more of a wintry kind of area. They got that covered. If you want bugs, they got that covered. They got a lot of different settings here. And from what I can tell, the Lost Adventure book itself also looks pretty neat as well. 120-page hardcover book with, different maps and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff available there if you so choose. And there's this kind of stuff is everywhere. All right. Now, before we move on, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare supports this channel quite a bit, and I'm very thankful for it, especially because I use this all the time. I am a personal subscriber to that. I actually pay for the membership. They do not even give it to me. I pay for it because I believe in it that much every single month because I use it all the time. For instance, I was just thinking about my new studio setup that I'm going to be having for you guys, and I was thinking about how I can improve what I do here instead of just sitting here talking to you. And that's B-roll. I could really do some B-roll. Even stuff was when I'm talking about Tanares, I could have some images of the arena game laid out and then kind of nice. Well, this was a super cool 18-minute lesson by Adi Singh, and he did a wonderful job teaching me how to just with a camera and a camera strap how to get good B-roll shots. And he didn't assume I knew anything. And even when he didn't go over the super basics, he has a video that he links to that's hey, you can watch this. What I find different about Skillshare versus something like YouTube is that it's all about the education, and it's formatted in that way, in a really good way. And like I said, I like this piecemeal stuff and all that. But this was a great one. Again, 18 minutes, and I feel infinitely more capable of filming some good B-roll footage for you. So if you see it, that's a little bit thanks to Adi, so thanks to him. Now there is a link below to Skillshare. For the first 1,000 clicks on that, you will get a free trial membership of Skillshare. So feel free to do that. It costs you nothing. If nothing else, you can click that, search what you're wanting to do, whether it's learning how to draw, whether it's learning how to be more organized in your work, or whether it's how to make your hobby into something you can do professionally, whether it's how to exercise more, like what's a good way to do that in your cube, or what's a good way to get motivated, or Skillshare has it all. Highly recommended. Again, that's linked down below. Show them some love because they show this channel some love, which means they show you some love too, which is kind of cool. All right, moving on from that, we're going to go to Kitsun, Clan of the Scarlet Forest. This is by Legends of Signum. I have seen some of my patrons paint some of these minis, and they look great. In fact, I was really excited. I already had this actually laid out, and I was checking my email for last minute things that come in, because sometimes they do, or I forget something that I can put on here. And they actually emailed me out of the blue and were like, hey, we would like to send you these Kitsun minis. So I will be showing these off later, so you can see that ideally within this next 13 days of time of filming, so that you guys can see it before it actually goes. But super unique minis. The game itself always interested me because it uses terrain and it's card based, and I like both those, and the designs are just crazy. I was a member of their Patreon, paying myself, again, thank you patrons, for a long while just because of their minis. But you know, here you can see you can get $59, you get the clan, you get dice, you get you know, the little measuring sticks and all the cards and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. Look at this dude. This is a Kitsun riding a fish. That's cool. I dig that. This is a beefy Kitsun. I mean, it's just really cool. They really went to town on this. Here's a Kitsun on a dragon. Here's a Kitsun playing the guitar. Here's a Kitsun on a fish with 2 swords. Because, again, why not? Looks super cool, though. Really, really dig it. Their style is crazy. And like I said, I've seen some of my patrons paint some of their minis, and they look really nice, but I'll let you know. I'll unbox these. So I won't spend too much on this, but they do look pretty neat. So I am very much down with anything unique that stands out. I got a lot of minis. What can you give me that's unique? That's what I'm interested in. Next up, we have Neverheim, the miniatures game. Don't back this unless you really think it's great. This brings off a lot of like red alert, you know, warning symbols to me. I covered this, I think, a couple months ago. A few of the issues, right? And like, first of all, the renders and stuff, you can see some of them are like really fuzzy and whatnot. They're also extremely skinny. Now they said that they're going to use a really flexible PVC to be able to support that. I still don't think they're going to be able to get fingers like that and stuff, though it's kind of blurry, so I can't really tell. Like it really blurs out, as you can see. But like, I get the style they're going for. I just don't think it's practical. Like, look how, I'm sorry, I don't care how bendy it is. That's too skinny. It's just too skinny. And those fingers are too small, and they're not going to be able to do that. Also, the bendier the plastic, typically, it means it's less hard, which means it's harder to get to find detail. So don't expect, oh gosh, dang it. I middle clicked. Don't expect like the actual rope textures in there. So don't back up for the minis. They're not going to be like this. They're going to be crap. That's what they're going to be. There's no, look how skinny, it's not, no, you can't, and it looks like some of them have been like resized and warped. Like it's not like the right aspect ratio. From what I can tell, it looks like there's actually some warping going on. The art looks very uninspired. They're showing these twice. They showed these up above the barrels and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going on there. They finally did release a rule book. I didn't read it all, but it's like very bare bones, like very. So I'm not sure how much game is actually here, but you can click on that. I am glad that they did that. I worry about you guys, and I want to feel confident sending you to stuff. And I don't feel confident sending you to this. Another big important thing I feel, I don't know what's up with my scroll. It's just me, probably. It's by Zombie Division. This is their first time here. They are in the comments, but they're like very, antagonistic and defensive and not interacting with the community a lot. As somebody who's been on the receiving end of like having people yell at them, I now I'm not running a company here, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. My video is free. Yeah, you just gotta watch it. There's a way to be, I guess, firm, and then a way to just be immature. And you kind of want to not go down that line, in my opinion, especially if you're asking for people's money, in my opinion. Okay, moving on from that, we have Fractal, Beyond the Void. This is kind of interesting. I have it right here. You will see an unboxing of that very soon. I will do a review. I will let you guys know. This is a 4X game that's story-driven legacy setting. Sounds interesting. I have always wanted to get into 4X gaming. I like 4X gaming in video games. However, when I look at board games, oftentimes they make me a little anxious, right? Because the 4X games have so much stuff on the table that it's like too much. So looking at Fractal, it looked actually quite manageable, quite it didn't make me anxious looking at it, right? And so I actually said, okay, yeah, I'll take a look at your game. So they sent it, so I will let you know what I think of this 4X story-driven legacy setting board game. So be on the lookout for that. And apparently 3,353 people are also looking into it, so that's cool too. I didn't get into ISS Vanguard, but I have been saying constantly I want more sci-fi board games. I don't have enough. That being said, I also have Chronicle X Wave 2 here, so you'll be seeing that here soon too. Again, subscribe if you're not, so YouTube lets you know. Speaking of sci-fi, Beyond Humanity, Astrominers. These names, I swear. This is a worker placement game, essentially. See right there, a unique worker placement game. So it says roll for crit. There's not a lot here, though they are kind of showing like a lot of the stuff. What I can say, what I am appreciative of, is the production value of this. It looks quite fancy. You got custom dice, you got nice colors, you got these like cool, clear plastic tokens and stuff like that. So you're not like playing with like, you know, wooden blocks so much as you have all these cards, but then you also have like this little tray, right? I really dig this tray, this right here. I dig that. You can like push it in and slide it in and stuff like that. If you're going to be playing a game about placing dice in certain locations, it may as well look good, in my opinion. And these are inherently physical products I'm buying, and so I like it premium. So seeing those tokens, seeing those trays, definitely one that I wanted to point out to you guys, and it's be on GameFound. I don't know when it's launching, but however, again, there's a link to all this down below. You click follow, get $5 as a discount, but don't let that make you back a whole game. If you're not certain about a game, it's not real $5. They're not giving you cash. It's just $5 off if you do it. Don't feel like you've already spent money on it. Don't feel like you're like, don't let that be a marketing tactic. Make that be an advantage for you. So just, I guess my 2 cents on that entire scheme there. All right, moving on. We have Avalonia. This will be on Kickstarter soon, and you will also be seeing this on the channel. This is by Farside Games. They did the Epic 7 game, if you recall. That was based off like a really popular mobile game. It was anime. I kind of showed that off a little bit. What they sent me was kind of botched by the people sending it, kind of like what happened with Dragori Games. Unfortunate, it does happen sometimes. So I guess neither of them are alone in that. But it means I couldn't show off too much, sadly. However, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we'd like to show this off. And I'm like, yes. like just setting wise, it looks cool. It says trample, crumple, blood craves indestructible. I like all those words. Yes, that sounds cool. Like this guy here, like that's a cool freaking background. It kind of reminds me of like the Wasteland 2, this kind of style. And then it's like this like kind of steampunk thing. But then there's like these eyeball things in this guy's back. So I don't know what's good. Looks crazy. I'll let you guys know about it. I don't know too much about it yet, but I guess I will. Next up, we have SCP Foundation. It was funny, I was putting this list together last night, spending the hours it takes to do that. Again, if you appreciate that, like that video, definitely helps out a ton. I put a ton of effort into all this because I actually look at everything. I try to read up on everything. I try to know what I'm talking about here. And it wasn't launched. And then, well, now it's launched. So they already blew past their pledge goal of $1,284, which is of course bogus. That doesn't even get you a single steel mold for miniatures. You would have to do some resin casting, some silicone molds, which at that point, even at 104 backers, you're already making probably 2 silicone molds for that. They do not last very long. It's why they're for small batches. It's why you see a limited 50 run on some stuff like that. Like it's not a whole lot. It just depends on how careful you are scraping it out of that little silicone mold. Maybe I'll talk to you guys about some of the build processes at some point. What do I think about this? It's based off of, I don't know. People told me to go watch it. I'm assuming it's like a web thing or something like that. Looks scary. Looks very dark. I dig that. The minis look crappy. And what I mean by that is, like, this is not, like, even just looking at how the base is, looking at how the sculpt is, don't expect great minis. You will not be getting great minis. These will be below the average of what you see behind me. So don't expect this stuff. Expect worse than what you see in the render. Okay, so just FYI, this is obviously not like a mini company thing. They do have a half cat, so that's a thing. And then, like, 25 of these guys that are all the same. So it's very indie. So go into it knowing that, definitely, for sure. You like customize your base or your map. And so there you have all these map tiles, but then you can customize it. But each like site has different things, as you can see, that like interact and do different things like that. There's like 2 phases. There's your phase and then the bad guy's phase. This is kind of talking about the map. In my opinion, the map looks super boring, but you know, is what it is. I don't know. I don't like the style. I like the idea and the concept. What I mean by style is I just don't like, I don't know. It just looks really plain to me. Like this looks like the mini map from like StarCraft. like it just looks really old in that sense. There you can see these are the nicest minis. This is not the mass production minis. I'm assuming, I have not played this video, assuming it's not the mass production minis. So take that as you will. Those will be like kind of the resin ones, probably printed out or something like that. However, it's $101 about for the pledge, and you get everything there. They are not doing like add-ons. It's just stretch goals. So I really dig the scope control there. Really appreciate that. There was back on the first day to get this kind of cat thing. By the time I get this video out to you guys, it's not gonna be the first day. I apologize for that. Is what it is. I did tell you guys about this, I think, twice now in previous videos. So you could have clicked to notify me on there. So again, if this could have saved you some money or could have gotten you something free, if you had seen this earlier, subscribe. And that's how you get notified when I show this kind of stuff out. This has been a preview page for forever. Like towards the beginning of the year, I was showing this game off. So, in fact, I think it may have been my big like 2021 board games I had it. It's been a while. All right, let's move on to the biggest one right now. Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, $7 million. It is amazing what 2 things combined do. One of them, obviously, IP. People love Avatar. I've not seen it, but people love it. So obviously they're interested in that. There's that brand recognition. IP can definitely do good there. But let's not deny Magpie Games some credibility. They came out with Root, which was a huge success for them for sure. So people definitely know about them. So they're not like I think I don't know if they're new to the role playing game part of it, like the tabletop RPG stuff, but they are definitely like they've shown they can make quality stuff. So normally I would caution anybody that's like this hugely successful, 60,000 backers. 60,000 backers. However, and this is still a scale unto its own, of course, but I think they know what they're doing, so I'm pretty confident sending you guys to them, so that's cool. Yeah, they come with like these little booklets, which is kind of interesting. So they got like the core book, right, that has pretty much everything. And it's like there's like some card gameplay. Honestly, I didn't feel like they do a great job showing you how the game plays on here without you clicking a video, which I didn't do. It's kind of a bummer. But they talk about different aspects of it, but it's kind of typical stuff. What's interesting here is so you get like the core book, right? And that's like your main thing. And then you get all these like, you can see all these different booklets, essentially is what they call them. They're like 30 pages-ish right here, 30 plus pages, right? So there's just these adventure booklets that you get. I think that's actually kind of cool. It seems very bite-sized. I'm assuming they're mostly kind of one-offs-ish. which I think it's fine. I think that's okay. Definitely, if I was to get into tabletop gaming, I would appreciate something like this for sure. Something that's just kind of like, okay, I can just kind of ease into it a little bit. I just got this one booklet. I made this character, or whatever you do in it. And then, again, they have like cards and stuff too. So there's some like card like gameplay as well, which is kind of interesting. Definitely a different take on it. They don't mention 5e anywhere on here. I don't know if it's in the FAQ. Let's check real quick. Will there be a GM screen? No GM screen. Will there be miniatures? No. Do I need the one combat deck? One group is sufficient. Come on, mention 5e. That's what everybody asks. Can I use this in 5e? Is this 5e compatible? I'm not seeing 5e. We'll do a search real quick, but I'm not seeing it. 5e, 5R? Nope, that's not. That's Tome of Heroes has 5e. Okay, so wait. 5th edition. Nope. Okay, not compatible with 5th edition. Instead, uses 2d6. So, you tabletop guys, you know what 2d6 is. I don't want to know what 2d6s are, but that's what it uses. So, definitely something kind of different there than what you might be used to. Next up, we have Carbon Gray, the role-playing game in Omnibus. I clicked this because it looks cool. Like, I love the theme. I played Valkyrie Chronicles for this exact same reason. I bought Reichbusters for this exact same reason. I like weird war. I like kind of stylized World War II kind of stuff, like when it comes to like anime, like Valkyrie Chronicles, or a weird war like Reichbusters and stuff like that. I dig it. I love it. I could like Wolfenstein and playing through that and having like blimps and stuff. Like, I love it. It's great. Really, really good. I always dig it. And this looks really cool. Also looks violent. I like both. So this is kind of cool. This is by West End Games. They're using the D6 system by them. And in fact, it's like a magnetic version. So it's like D6VM, I believe, or MV is what they're calling it. It also has minis, 21 detailed plastic miniatures. So, and as you can see, they have like weird, like 8 people. He's floating out. Nope. His foot's attached. It's just really dark there. They got this big mech thing out. They got these like chicks here. They got this really big bad guy. He's like the last picture down there. It looks super cool there. I think that's like one of the main ladies right here. Either way, love the style. That's super cool. And in fact, there's like a graphic novel I would be interested in getting, actually. Like, that's cool. But even so, hardcover, $40. You get the hardcover. Does it come with everything else there? The core rulebook hardcover, 21 detailed miniatures. Okay, so all of this is the $150. Not bad for the custom dice and the cards and the minis and deluxe box set for it all with a hardcover book and all that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty legit. For this kind of stuff, because there's a lot of art, there's a lot of written material, it's a lot of work, I'm sure, to build an RPG. So that seems to be kind of part of the course. But these minis, again, it just looks so unique. I dig it. There's this, what's this, Fenris Wolf? Heck yeah, let's get a Fenris in here. Why not? We got like the Stone Demons, these kind of guys, and the Purge Troopers, and it just looks, actually, I think, really neat. So, very, very cool. And you can get, like, chibis. You can get a giant 12-inch posable action figures. You can get a 12-inch DIY statue. You can get all sorts of stuff, which is also kind of cool as well that they have those options. But look at this. Look at this. Freaking Dragon Wraith. This theme is wild. So this is why I wanted to share this with you. Again, I am not... Yeah, here's that guy with the, like, wolf on him. Anyway, I am not an RPG player, so I apologize if I don't know what I'm talking about. I do try to do that. However, this looks cool. I like collecting RPG books because I really dig the art and the lore and just reading through them, and I just find them very fascinating. I just don't personally play. All right, yeah, the magnetic press play. I don't even know what that is necessarily, but they're proud of it. Next up, we have Tanares RPG, and I think this is the last RPG. Again, I'll be doing a detailed video on that. And again, as you already saw, there is a huge, huge giveaway, including a video you can watch of mine that gets you an answer, that gets you 450 more points. Definitely worth it. And you can win every 5e book they have released, all of Tanares, plus choose 3 games and you get them. And they show like Kingdom Death Monster there. Like, it's not even like the price is high. Like, they can get you a game. 3 of them, which is pretty cool. But Tanares, I'm not going to dive into it too much, except to say that they got stuff like Bruce Nesmith. I know him from the video game side of things. He is the lead designer of Skyrim. So there you go. Ed Greenwood, he made the Forgotten Realms. So definitely some big names here, which is, I think, very cool. And there is a way to go through it without actually like playing a tabletop RPG. So there's like cards, and you can play from 1 to 4 players, even solo, without a game master or anything like that, and still kind of go through the motions there, which I think is super cool. And it is true solo, where you only control 1 character. So I don't think that you're going to be managing a whole party there. You have 1 character, and then you have like these people that come with you essentially as your party. But seriously, link down below to that giveaway. Click that. You definitely want to win that. I want one of you guys to win it. So win it. Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. This is one that's been showing up a lot lately. I will probably have an early look at this. I need to contact the guys behind it. It looks like there's some stealth mechanics there. It looks like there's some interesting combat, and obviously the theme is quite cool too. This guy's totally coming out of not Stargate. All that kind of stuff's interesting, of course. I'll let you guys know more about it as I get it and as I can show it off. So we'll kind of take it one step at a time with that. Moving on, we have Battle for Goldenstar. Now, this is actually kind of interesting. Now, this is a preview page, so it's not quite live yet. I've shown this before because it was before and then it was canceled, but they've changed a little bit. Not too much, mostly just how they market it. So instead of fleets, you have these bounty hunters, which I think makes more sense anyway. And again, the style is wholly unique. Very cool. This guy reminds me of Steamwork Dig here. I dig that. I love the giant blade this guy has. And my daughters would love playing a dinosaur. So especially an orange and yellow dinosaur. So that looks pretty cool. It's kind of interesting. So there's like all these different locations you can go, and you can like build up your fleet and stuff like that. Each character comes with 4 skill cards, and that's their only unique cards, but then they come with like a pool of 42 black tech command cards that you can kind of build up. You do some card gameplay. There are no dice, and you're essentially building up your cubes into here until you can essentially win the game that way. But again, more unique enemies here, and not too bad. $90 and you get the gameplay all in. A sub 100 gameplay all in. I like it. I can get behind that. So we'll definitely be on the watch for that once that launches. That'll be kind of cool. This is the old one, so you can kind of see it was Final Fusion back in the day. You might remember me covering this quite a while ago, actually. Because again, it was shown for a while too, and they tried to do kind of like some daily unlocks and stuff like that. But they also advertised it a little bit different. But they're also showing like the ring system a little bit nicer, and kind of how you can win and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But otherwise, it looks like it's mostly the same thing, and they just worked on branding more than that, which, in my mind, makes it seem like they know what they're doing when it comes to the actual gameplay. So there's that. And also, look at you. You got a cool, unique box. There will never be another Final Fusion because they changed the name of it. Okay, next up we got Green Hell, the board game. This was canceled, but it will be coming back, I believe, in September, so real soon here. This is based off of a video game, I believe. I didn't go play the video game or go buy it or anything like that. It was their first created, and they do have a very interesting dice tower. It's kind of weird. They kind of showed this off as well. However, it looks actually pretty cool, and they do a good job of showing the gameplay here. So you move, you explore and interact. There's a giant spider there. Good luck. You search and harvest. You like actually build these, and then you get the like Tetris pieces of poly, whatever. You guys have fancy words for it. I'm not a fancy guy. The Resident Evil inventory, you get to play that, which I love. I dig it. I'm obsessed with like, if I stack the grenades here, and I used to do it in like Diablo. Love action RPGs, so I've done that's my bread and butter. I can be behind that 100%. Craft and build, same kind of thing. You make that, bam, look, now you have that weapon. I think that's kind of cool. This like these aren't dice, so I'm not sure exactly what the whole thing is there, but whatever. That's a thing too, I guess. So anyway, it looks pretty interesting to me. Like and look at this. They had like an insert that like looks quite nice. It looks very nice. So that looked cool. Has a very unique art style, which I kind of dig. Like it looks like it's very tame, but I'm suspecting it's like not. But maybe it is. I mean, it looks like you got like wild hogs and spiders and stuff like that. So maybe not too bad. My kids would probably love this and also never go camping again afterwards. But I dig it. Like, it looks cool. So I'll be looking into the relaunch of Green Hill. Hopefully I can tell you guys about it. Next up, we have Downtown Chase. There's a ton of stuff here. I told you this is a big one. I instantly thought Crazy Taxi when I saw this. It's not Crazy Taxi. I'm sad to say. Simpsons Road Rage. No, it's not Simpsons Road Rage. It's Downtown Chase. It's kind of like Twisted Metal if Twisted Metal wasn't so rated M for mature. So there's no clown with his head on fire. However, this guy does have a lizard. And he's drinking like while driving. That sounds bad. So how do they call this? Downtown Chase is a hand management, card play, conflict resolution, dice rolling, set collection, miniature board game for 1 to 4 players. I love that we just get longer and longer about describing our games. It's like a checkbox, so like solo, like if it's 1 to 4 players, anyway, soloable, or true solo, or like to keep adding to it. Let's make a paragraph sentence about what this game is. It's kind of hard to describe games. This guy has a kitty in his pocket and grenades, which I like the combo there. So definitely looks like some unique characters. That is for sure. The one, and it actually sounds kind of cool. You're essentially going about trying to get all these upgrades and then, fighting each other. Again, kind of like Twisted Metals, what it reminds me of. I don't like the map at all. In fact, that prevents me from ever playing this. I would never play it with that map. It bothers me too much. They might be proud of it and maybe they want to stick with it, but I don't like it. I like the cards. Like, these cards look cool. The minis are just standing there, but that's okay. It's whatever. You're not buying it necessarily for the minis. But I like the colors and design on that. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, that seems like a lot too, but it looks like you're playing Minesweeper. But that map, I can't. It looks like a really bad version of like Life, the board game, to me. Like, just visually looking at it, it looks like something my kids brought home. It's like Candyland 2 or something. Not a fan of that. So I can't get behind that, but maybe that's not an issue with you. Either way, it looks like it'd be probably a lot of fun, especially for a family board game. Next up, we have Primal the Awakening. The Pledge Manager is now open. And yes, you see that right. That is my money I put in there. Again, thank you to my patrons. If you want to help support the channel so I can bring you content like showing you Primal the Awakening, link down below. So it's $1 a month, but it adds up a lot for me, and I greatly appreciate it. But the Pledge Manager is open. You should have an email for that. Masters of the Universe, Fields of Eternia, that is now over. I just wanted to say that I did convert this, because even though I have USD, it's still showing it in this fake money stuff, but that fake money relates to actual over $1 million in real money, i.e. USD. I'm just kidding, guys. Calm down. It's just a joke. No, but seriously, I think this is Archon's first 1 million plus campaign during the campaign. So congrats to them for that. I think they did an interesting job. Like, there are some things I don't agree with, like gameplay locked behind some like preview stuff. Right? Like, I'm fine with minis. I don't care about that. But when it's actually like there's a card there and stuff like that, and it's like you feel like you're missing out a little bit. However, they did good on marketing it, and I think they did good on like the stretch goals and stuff like that. So overall, I count this as a win, especially considering they made over $1 million, and it's quite good. Seeing the Kaman map, by the way, which I don't have a good real image of it. So that'll be in the next news video. I'll probably have something to show you guys there, but it looks much plainer. Like, this looks like a cartoon. Theirs does not, which is unfortunate because I'm very much interested in a 1 versus mini game, but this map, to me, clearly better. All right, moving on from this, we have Skyrim, the board game first look at some components. There you go. There's a mini there, and there's a map. And yes, you were seeing that right. It is an overhead map. Now, my first reaction, and also here's some like questing and stuff like that. My first reaction was, no, I don't want an overhead map. I want to go on an adventure with Skyrim. They brought up a good point. They have Call to Arms. I got it right over there. Like, they already have a game where you're delving deep into the dungeon and, getting items and fighting, all these enemies and stuff like that. Like, they already have that. So, because that can actually be quite narrative, which is, I think they did really good. They did really good in the Fallout Wasteland Warfare one as well. I was like, this is Fallout, the board game, like, essentially. That's what it should have been. Like, in that, it's Fallout encapsulated into a board game. So they already have that, so they're wanting to do something different with this, which I can understand. So there's like no dice, not going into anything like that. You are seeing here like a vampire, troll, Daedra. They will have these tokens that are moving around the board, and then in the deluxe version, they're hoping to unlock those into stretch miniatures. Now what that tells me is that they will have a cheaper, non-mini heavy focused version of the game, which sounds awesome. I've been talking about this several times just in this video. And then for those who want the kind of pimped out version with minis, stuff like that, you got that deluxe version as well. I think that's super cool, and I hope I'm reading into that right. I will be having a chat with Modifius at some point here. I think I need to reschedule it with them, but I'll chat with them. I'll let you guys know what I find out. Next up, we have ThreeTale. I've shown this off once before. I'm showing it off again. This has my interest. I need to know more about this, but I'm also not wanting to spoil too much for myself, if that makes sense, because it seems kind of like a Chrono Trigger-ish kind of thing. And what I mean by that is, like, you look at this, like, what the heck is going on here? Like, my daughters would instantly die for this. But it says, ThreeTale is a co-op adventure board game for 3 players. 3 players. That, like, not 1 to 3. 3 players. And you see 3 here, which means I think somebody gets to be the freaking reindeer Pegasus. Where you travel from ancient times to dystopian future to save the world. I have always been a fan of that. I mentioned Chrono Trigger. I even liked like the old Call to Power games where you could like start in like ancient Egypt and then have like your guys survive all the way to like where underwater cities and like, you know, the futuristic stuff like that. Like I dig it. I love it. I think that's great. So super interested in that as well. Next up we have Myth and Goal. This is by Blacklist Games. This is their kind of fantasy football, not like the stats, but like a football game in fantasy. So like orcs and dwarves and stuff like that, as you can see, and elves and whatnot. I'm not super big into football games, but I know a ton of people are into these kind of Blood Bowl and stuff like that. So Myth and Goal, first of all, I think is a great name. And that'll be on Kickstarter September 21st. And again, it's just for 1 to 2 players. I don't know the 1-player thing. That sounds interesting. I'll let you guys know what the solo mode is for that. Next up, we have Kabula. This is by Stranger Games Studio. It's a satirical skirmish board game. That's a first for me, with monsters to tame and a magic tree to steal. Back at Kabula for a journey unlike any other. That seems weird and interesting. It also has a very fat squirrel thing with feather tails. A journey through monsters, adventures, and unbelievable stupidity. So there's also some weird world stuff in here too. You might not recognize Kabula by name, but you might recognize this. Or this. And I've talked about this a little bit. Well, there you go. So yeah, I'll let you know more about that as I come across it. Next up, we have Dawn of Madness. I'm not going to show you some of the art. There's some new art there, but it is kind of like gory, and I'm sure some of you don't want to see that. What I'm going to say here is they were very upfront about their current timeline, and so they are currently projecting they will deliver the games in October 2022. Yes, that is a huge delay. Hopefully they can make it, I guess is all I can say there. As long as it ends up being a good game, we benefit from it, but that is quite the delay. So, and apparently most of the delay is coming from just writing it. It's just a lot to write, and I can understand that. We've all seen like a Game of Thrones and stuff like that, right? Like it can take a while to write and to do it well. And this is not a game where you want to rush the writing too, so I can understand that, but man, it still sucks. That's a long, long wait. Very much delayed. I'm so hoping to at least learn more about Celestial, if nothing else. Maybe just a morsel. Just give me a morsel. That's all I need, Dimension Games. All right, moving on. Elegoo. Speaking of 3D printing, Elegoo Jupiter. They have the Mars. They have the Neptune, which is actually, you can probably see a little bit of it. It's right down there right now. The process is moving, stuff's moving around, it's going crazy. And which is their FDM. Then they have the Mars, which is a resin printer, and then they have the Saturn. Well, now they have the Jupiter, 12.8 inch 6K mono LCD 3D printer, only 600 USD for the first 500. So You're welcome for letting you know this. Why does 6K matter? Because it's a bigger screen. The bigger it is, the more pixels you want there, so that if the pixels are like this, right? So they're just like square pixels, and you're trying to put something like this, where you're gonna have that jagged edge, right? But you don't have you can try and do some anti-aliasing, but ideally just more pixels make it look better, right? You talk about that in video games, same kind of thing here actually. But let's talk about this a little bit. So it is bigger than the Saturn, which is great. And I was thinking, if I can print terrain on a resin printer, I would never use the FDM again. I just wouldn't. I'm all about quality. So Jupiter, 12.8 inch 6K, right? Now it says here, only 500 super early bird winners will get 600. Put in your email address. The original price will be $1,300. Kickstarter special is going to be $740 for only 2,000 units. So 500 people are going to get it for 600. 2,000 people are going to get it for $740, and then everybody else gets it for $1,300. So definitely want to follow the link down below. Click this, get notified. What are some special things about it? Well, one of the big things I thought of was this. One of the first things I mentioned, and my patrons will know this, I have a little 3D printing part of my Discord for patrons, and I mentioned how it would be great if, my current Mars, there's a little intake fan there for the carbon filter, and I was like, I wish you could just put a vat of resin there so it just auto-filled. Well, there you go. Because I ran out of resin once on a print, because you can print more than your resin vat holds. Well, this solves a problem. It constantly fills the resin. Great idea. Love it. This needs to be on every 3D printer. My opinion. Seriously, I want to see that. Not only that, but look, it's just the top. That's the special part. It's not like you, as far as I can tell, you don't even need to use Elegoo resin. Now, Elegoo resin is actually quite good, but you get what I'm saying. I think that's super cool that they don't force it. That's super awesome. So, really excited that they're going to be doing that. But the size. So the size is 277 millimeters by 156 millimeters by 300 millimeters. That's pretty big. It's pretty big. However, this would be too big. So this is what I printed on my Neptune. The Neptune is 220 by 220 by 250 versus the 270 bigger by 150 smaller by 300 bigger. It's that 156 that's the problem. So this could go like this, but then it would stop right about here, right? So if you were wanting to print something quite this big, you couldn't do it. If you're wanting to print something this big, though, you could. So will it work with all terrain? No, some terrain's just too big. Will it work for a lot of terrain? Yes. Can you slice things, right? Yeah, you can do it in Mesh Mixer or something like that. So it could work. If you are interested in this, $600. I know one patron that's probably going to buy several. Again, link down below to that. So that's pretty cool, I think. And that's coming out in September as well. So very soon here. All right, next up, we have Kenji's Quest. I covered this once before. I got more information I want to share with you guys. This comes out in 4 days at time of recording. This is very soon. Again, I'm a little cautious about this, and I'll tell you why. So it looks like they're really trying. I will give them that. I think they're trying, which is cool. I dig that they're trying. I don't like the fact that they give you mason jars and a core pledge and a neoprene mat. Not only that, but the neoprene mat also says Kenji's Quest on it, and then it's blank because you put the mat tiles on it. So you have a stitched neoprene mat and a core box. No, it should be an add-on. Don't put that in the core box. Here's a core box, $75. You get some rats, some little tiny rats. This is your rats you get, plus the standees here and stuff like that. Then you get this game mat and then 6 potion bottles. Get out of here with your potion bottles. No. 4 sets of dice. Okay, sure, whatever. Magic stones, again, make those tokens, and then you can upgrade as an add-on to these magic stones. I dig the idea of a magic stone. I love me some neoprene mats, especially stitch ones. They don't belong in a core box. Get those out of a core box and lower your price. Then you have the Chapter 1 dungeon tiles, which seems kind of odd. It's only Chapter 1, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot there either. And then 30 2D standees. So you get these standees that you're also going to do. And then the character sheets, that's cool. Equipment item cards, that's cool. Chapter 1 skill cards, that's cool. 2 treasure chests that contain loot. That's kind of cool. Pencils and fasteners. You don't need to put pencils in there either. It's just not needed. No. The instruction booklet, cool. And this access card for the companion app. Okay, also cool too. I want to talk about this right here. $80 boss bundle. These bosses like you see Cthulhu here and the Kraken, and you see this like toad guy. Let me see the toad guy. Like here's the toad guy, right? And then you get these dragons as well, like this dragon here and these dragons here, like this guy right here. All right, so you have all these guys, and then of course you have, there's the dragon from Lord of Print. Here's this dragon. You see him? See him? There he is right there. That's him. Okay? Or how about the toad guy? Here's the toad guy, Lord of Print. Here's the Kraken. See the Kraken here? Okay? There's the Kraken here. There he is. And it's for all of them. Here's another dragon they have there. Here's the Cthulhu guy that they have. Right? They're advertising him. Now, is that bad? No. In fact, yes, but no. They say they have permission for it, which is fine. Okay? And they say right here, they're going to be using Cyorez thermoplastic resin. Okay? The thermoplastic resin is this stuff right here. This is the Cyocast. They use this kind of resin stuff that they do. And then they make it in silicone molds because it's resin. That's what they do. It's bendy and stuff like that. It looks nice. So that's cool. I dig that. Let's go ahead and look at like their molds here. And this is why I guess I have questions. Now, another thing that's kind of interesting here. Let me see if I can find this. Let's go about us. And they talk about we put artists first. So it says, we know that quality art and music is key to success of product. That's why we treat all musicians and artists who design our miniatures or do the art for Kenji's Quest as our most important partners. Then I shouldn't have to find out that the Lord of Print did all your minis. You should tell me who did your minis. Not have people find out that it's from a 3D print company and then have to ask and then you answer. So here's that mold. So you get the silicone mold. It's very flexible, and then you kind of peel them apart and you can do that. Now, again, any kind of silicone mold, regardless, it deteriorates over time. So you can only do small batches before you need a new one. Now you can do more, but eventually it becomes very costly to do that. It's also normally kind of costly to, set it all up correctly and stuff like that. It's very easy to damage a silicone mold for obvious reasons versus a steel mold, right? That's kind of the difference there. So if they sell a whole bunch, like if this sold 5,000 people, they could not make that in a silicone resin. That's just not plausible. Like this is not a thing, right? It needs to be able to ramp up for production. So I have questions around that. That's always kind of odd. The other thing is you'll notice, like these, right? I don't know if you know how minis are printed, but they come in like either supported or unsupported, but they're all these like various pieces. Like his whole head will be one, and then like half of his body will be one, and then this whole wing here will be that, and then this, giant. In fact, this whole thing is probably one piece here, right? This entire thing there. Now, how are you going to do that in this? And if you're not doing the silicone molds, then what, are you 3D printing it? Just using this resin? Like you could 3D print a resin, but if you're 3D printing them all, I hope you have a fleet of 3D printers to, like, again, if you sell so many of these, it just, again, a ton of red flags there. I don't understand the core pledge. I don't understand not telling people that you just got some 3D prints for permission, I guess, to recast or print them out and then physically sell them, or I don't know what the heck's even going on with there, because they don't tell you, even though they say they put artists first, and then when you actually try to find out who the artists are, you can't. It's weird. Okay, so again, I want to feel confident telling you guys, hey, yeah, go back this. What I don't want to do is send you guys to some place and then have you guys be like, why'd you send me there, dude? This was such a botched thing. I'm out money now. It's like, I don't want that. Okay, so there are definitely some flags here. We'll see on the actual Kickstarter. I will cover this, of course, and let you guys know. Again, it does launch in a couple days here, but yeah, it's iffy for me. So, all right, that is it. Guys, I'm like lightheaded at this point. That was a huge update. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you learned pretty much everything there is to know that you might want to be interested in. There's a few other things that I've shown in other videos. So if you haven't seen my other videos, you can see my last news video. Of course, that'll actually probably pop up as a recommended one, especially if you haven't seen it. But this was enough. I didn't want to overstuff it any more than I already had. But at this point, you should be pretty knowledgeable on your options on what you can get for your gaming goodness. So enjoy it, have some games with some loved ones, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. All right, bye guys.